stack.
What's good, Division 2? It's live with Tux, and it's Saturday night. Hope everybody's doing well. Got a good stream for you all. Fix my hood here so I look nice and pretty. But before we get going, before we start talking shop, give me a hashtag Tux Live. Somebody give me a hashtag Tux Live if I'm coming in loud and clear. I want to make sure my audio is all good. So I'm constantly fiddling with my setup over here. So let's make sure you can hear me loud and clear. We got a little bit of lag here for a second, but the internet will catch up with us in just a moment. As I power down on my jump. Thank you, Anthony DeMar. Appreciate you, bro. Welcome to the stream, folks. I got a new build for you today. And let's get you guys in the vibe with some good jams. And so we are farming, we're gonna be farming red stars. So I got the reanimated event on right now. And what I have going on also is I'm using headshot builds. And so today I've created another one using the bighorn, and it's it really shreds really well. So I'll get right into the build as people get settled in. And the internet's gonna be a little bit choppy here for a second, but it should clear up. What's going on? Let's see who is on the chat. So we did say what's up to Anthony DeMar. Appreciate that. Black John Wick, what's good, brother? All is well on the Eastern Front. Eddie Carico, welcome to the stream. Wick the Swede, welcome back. 2 in a row. Appreciate that. Malcolm Gales, glad you made it, brother. Uh, 14 all, 404 here. So here's a quick peek at the build. I'm gonna make a quick adjustment before I head out, actually. But so I'm running this build around the bighorn, and I decided to do this because somebody in the Players Club, I think it was Jacob Jacoby, just mentioned that he got his bighorn, his very first bighorn. So I thought I'd reach out and do a bighorn build. And the timing was nice because, you know, I am farming the reanimated event, which sort of asks you to do a lot of headshots. So what's up, Jacob? Welcome, brother. And so the bighorn gives you, it basically stacks 50 headshots, which gives you 2% more headshot damage each for 100% total headshot damage. So, and then it's got 30% more headshot damage on the mod. So then I'm running 3 pieces of striker, taking myself some weapon handling and rate of fire, which is what that weapon is missing. And I basically have crits rolled on it, a little bit of extra armor, but I think I'm gonna change that. And actually I'm gonna bring down the crit damage here in just a minute to add more weapon handling. And so, because we really wanna laser in on the heads, right? So I got some weapon handling here at the holster, but I think I'm gonna add it on the knee pads as well. And then also strip down the armor a little bit. I think with this one, we're probably gonna be better off with more weapon damage. So here's the backpack, which is, well, I'm running Bloodsucker, but I'm thinking twice about that actually. And then here's the chest, which is Cheska, and I'm running Obliterate. We got max crits on that, so. There's our stats. The headshot damage is off here. So what's just important is that we have max crit chance. That's what's most important here. But the headshot damage is only showing 5%, which is not right at all. The mod on the bighorn gives you 30% right there, and then it's going to give us another 100% on top of that. And then we have headshot damage from our watch. None of that's showing. What's up, Latina? Hey, Latina, can you let me know if is that video coming in clear, or is it coming in a little choppy on that side? Jaco, if you could let me know how that picture is. Does it seem a little choppy, like it's dropping frames? If so, I might switch it up. I'm hoping the internet levels out here, but it's been a little bit slow on my side today. So, and we got some good gameplay footage. So this build is really a shredder. It does really good focusing in on the head and just taking these enemies down. So if you guys haven't done the reanimated event, basically it's zombies, right? So if you kill them with a body shot or anything other than a headshot, then they're gonna come back to life. And then, yeah, either did I, Jaco. That's new for me. I haven't run the bighorn in a while, so yeah, I don't know what that's about. There's always a new bug in this game, I feel like. So I can make some quick changes before I head out, actually. So let's switch to this Bellstone backpack, and then I'm gonna reroll. Obviously, I'm not gonna run combined arms, but I don't think Bloodsucker is gonna be the right way to go with this. Just I have a hunch, but we will also. I will test a Bloodsucker in the field. Yeah, I'll give it another couple of minutes. If yeah, I'm on the Xbox. I got the new Xbox S, and I just changed my setup, and so you know, the Xbox S is pushing in more frames, and so I'm not sure if my streaming setup is picking up on that yet, which is why we might be a little bit choppy. So if that's going to be the case, then I'll make an adjustment, but I want to see if it levels out. So please be patient with me for a couple of minutes as we see if the video feed starts catching up with us here on the internet. Anyways, so yeah, let's take off combined arms and switch on, not Bloodsucker, I want the headshot one. What's it called? Where is it at? I'm trying to remember the name of it. Not Composure, because then we're going to be stuck in cover. And I'm not a big fan of that. Concussion, there it is, Concussion. So I want Concussion. So that's going to give us 10% more headshot damage for only 1.5 seconds, but we're okay with that because we're always going to be hitting the head. And then we get a kill, we'll get 15% more damage for 10 seconds. So that's like having Vigilance. So, oh yeah, look at that. Now the picture's catching up real fast on this. Oh, fucking internet. Hold on a second, let me make sure this feed is feeding in good. Sorry about the inconvenience there. Yeah, you can also run Vigilance with this, but I wanted to try to do something a little bit different. Now, keep in mind, guys, okay, so I have to set on Heroic. I got the event, all right? And then on top of that all, I got 4 directives. So I'm not running Pistolero because this is an assault rifle build, and I really don't want to have issues with my ammo. So I shredded those guys really fast, but then I get hit by that fucker. Yeah, that sucks. This is gonna reload me back in here real quick. So yeah, so keep in mind, you guys are probably not going to be running directives. I want the directives on because I'm farming for these red stars, and the more XP I get, then the more of these red stars I get, and I'm trying to get to 160. I have just over 100. I'll be tracking that along this feed, but watch this thing zero in. So it does really well. So it's still got a kick, right? Because it is the bighorn. So that's the thing about the bighorn, guys. You can't really run this without weapon handling. This is a variation of the original bighorn build that I made. Okay, it looks like the feed is coming in a little bit better now. Okay, so we should be smooth. Smooth sailing now on the feed. But yeah, you can't really run this thing without weapon handling, and that's why I'm running Striker. This is an iteration of a build that I did a while ago, but I decided to change it up and give it a little bit more power. So let's see how it feels here, and then we're going to be tuning it along the way, so you guys are going to see how this thing progresses and how I sort of make my build decisions, and I'll talk through it with you. So on the other weapon, I'm running the name CTAR, which is the rail splitter. And I wanted to run that for 2 reasons. One is because we're going to be talking about weapon handling today. Is it any good or isn't it? More than just, you know, adding a little bit in, but like fully speccing into weapon handling, is that worth it? So we'll be talking a little bit about that. And then also wanted to feature it because the point of farming these events, these global events, like Reanimated, is that you get those red stars that I'm talking about. And what I'm going to spend them on are named item caches. Named item caches contain obviously named items, but they also include named items that are exclusive to the Dark Zone. And so the Rail Splitter is a Dark Zone exclusive assault rifle, and it's really, really badass. So actually, if you don't have it, be sure to farm for it because it's really good, and I'll be showing a little bit of gameplay footage. I'm gonna squeeze it in, but this is a build for the bighorn. But yeah, so right now what we're running, and I will be showing the build multiple times, guys, multiple times throughout the feed. So if you didn't get a good look at it as I was exiting the White House in a hurry, then no biggie, because I'll be showing it again, and also be making a couple of adjustments along the way so that we can see that. Yard rat, yeah, actually Yard rat, you're the Yard rat. Sorry, I'm saying your name funny. That's funny. You're the one that keeps saying hits like a shoots like a Sitar, hits like an M1A. Yeah, this is a variation of that build. So my original bighorn build, that's how I describe it. Shoots like a Sitar, hits like an M1A because it hits really hard. We will be critting over 1 million, I'm pretty sure. Actually, I haven't tracked it exactly, but I've definitely caught in a couple of 900,000 crits on the head. So I'm focusing on the head. We're running concussion. We got obliterate. So we're getting a ton more weapon damage. And it's burst damage too, which is what I like. You can also run this with the memento, and the original build I created for the bighorn does use the memento, but I thought I'd try something a little bit different for you guys. But memento is obviously a good choice for this build as well. The difference is going to be this one's going to give you, the version that I have now is going to give you a little bit more upfront damage. And then I'm running 2 pieces of Bellstone, which is giving me 10% armor on kill, and I have Gunner, which is going to give me more ammo. But when I'm holding still, which I have a hard time doing, I'm also going to get 10% more weapon handling from Gunner. And then on top of that, it's also giving me 10% armor on kill. So I have 20% armor on kill, 1% armor regen, 25% weapon damage basically on the backpack, 25% weapon damage on the chest piece as well. So we got a lot of weapon damage going on. And then Striker is giving us the RPMs, right? And RPMs are a multiplicative stat. So basically it's making the bighorn stronger. And then it's also giving us more handling on top of that. So I think my handling all in right now is at, let me see, 15 plus 25, about, it's over 40% weapon handling. I think we're at 50% actually, is right where we're at. And then we're gonna get 10% from Gunner when I'm holding still, which I'm never doing. So I just can't help it. I'm a running Gunner. I have to run all the time. I'm so sorry. Ricky Young, you still on the stream, brother? Say what's up, Ricky. Welcome to the Tuxedos Players Club. We got a new member. Ricky Young just joined right before the stream started. So don't know if you're here or not at the moment, but if you are, GG's, brother. Welcome to Players Club. If you guys don't know, I do classified builds, which are secret builds made just for Texas Players Club, true and hardcore Bandito member levels. And if you want to tap into these, you can get access today by making sure that you are at least a true Bandito member level by hitting the join button just below the video. Yeah, and these are extra builds. They're as a thank you for supporting the channel. But yeah, really appreciate you guys. Really appreciate the support and the love. A really strong community. Also, if you guys aren't on my Discord, make sure you jump in there. We love to talk builds. Also, if you're looking to get associated with the Tux clans, which are now on all 3 platforms, we do have multiple clans on most of those platforms. Discord is the best place to connect with folks. Easiest place to catch them. But I'm just getting warmed up here in the gameplay. But I will be in a little while, after I kind of show what these builds can do, I will be turning off the directives and showing what they can do in that state, because I know that's how most people run. Most people aren't crazy like Tux. But if you were on yesterday's stream, like many of you were, then you could tell that, hey, this is a total different experience than our one-tap boss build from yesterday, which was a 3-piece Aces Mantis build. Shit. We were just clearing content with that thing. This is fun, but it's different. You take a lot more fire. I mean, I only had 1 armor core, basically no armor, on my Mantis build, and it was just, you know, Survivor's Paradise, just because your DPS is so fast. There's no faster DPS, and that was the point of that build yesterday. But with this one, you know, you have to spend a lot more time to empty a clip, a little less accuracy, obviously. It takes longer to kill enemies, which means you're taking more damage, so on and so forth. And when the enemy's dead, they're not shooting at you. And right now it's painful that they're shooting at me because a lot of these guys have special ammo because I have that special ammo modifier that directive on. Yard Rat says, we appreciate you. It's not even the build sometimes, even though they are all awesome. It's the vibes. Love it. Oh man, that's well said. That's what I hope, man. I hope I put out some good vibes for you guys. I'm trying to keep the community strong, build up the community, keep us together, keep us glued, you know, as we sit here and wait patiently for new content. I'm just like you guys. I'm just like you. There's no game out there like the Division 2, is there? What's up, Andrew Simpson? Welcome, brother. All right, we got our boys from the UK in the house. Biko, welcome. If you're just now joining us, you get me. Welcome to the stream. Malcolm Gales asks, what's the name of the clan? It changes a little bit depending on the platform. The initials are Tux. Latina can answer that question for you if you don't mind, Latina, or Jaco. Jaco's on the stream. He's the leader of one of the PlayStation clans, so he's in the house. And let's see, is our PC clan leader on? Eddie Carico's back. Welcome, Eddie. Good to see you, brother. Arturo, welcome to the stream. AG, if I didn't say hi, I'm saying it now. I think I called you. So here's our stats. The headshot damage is still not showing. And then here's the CTAR with the stats. So as you can see, we got a little bit more crit chance with the CTAR, but look at the handling and accuracy. 106%, I think that was accuracy on this thing, right? So 106% accuracy. You don't really need to spec into stability too much with the CTAR because it's actually really stable. And so the rail splitter gives us 50% more accuracy. So this is gonna be helpful since we're going for headshot. So on this control point, I'm gonna run, this is flooded against a true sun, so I'm gonna run nothing but the CTAR, the rail splitter, all right? This is the rail splitter. So the point is weapon handling. Bueno or no bueno? I mean, that was basically all headshots right there, right? So we don't have all the headshot damage anymore that the bighorn was giving us, but we do have more accuracy, so we're gonna be landing more shots, we're gonna be landing more crits. So keep in mind, I only have 92% crit damage here, guys. 92% crit damage. But doesn't it see, and keep in mind, I'm running four directives here. But doesn't it look like I have more? It seems like I have more. So the base RPM on the CTAR is 900 RPM. And then I'm running, whatchamacallit, Striker on top of that, which is giving me 15% more RPM. So this thing shreds really, really hard. And so the idea is, all right, is that if you're landing more of your shots, you can roll in less damage if you want to, of course. But so if you most people, you know, if you're really good with your assault rifle, just using that as an example, if you're really good with your assault rifle, you're probably averaging, you know, around 40%. That's pretty average. That's the average player, does really good, you know, aims for the head and weak points and whatever. So that puts you around, you're probably averaging 40% accuracy. So with that, most people are rolling, you know, about between 160 and 180% crit damage on an assault rifle build if you're going in all on crits. You know, it just changes a little bit. You can get more, you can get 220, 240% crit damage if you decide to go that direction and not run Fox's Prayers and not run the Contractor's Gloves. You can get your crits over 200% pretty easy. But the point is that if you're landing more of your shots, if you push your accuracy maybe up by 10%, so you're landing, let's just say 50% of your shots, because your weapon handling is so good and your RPM is high, right? Then do you need as many crits, right? You need as many crits. You're landing more shots. And the answer, I don't know if this is an opinion or if it's a fact, but the answer is no, you don't, you know? And for me, the build just shreds just as hard with less crits when I'm landing more shots. And that makes sense, right? So if you're landing 10% more of your shots than you're landing on all those shots, you know, and you have max crit chance or whatever, then even though you're not maxed out on crit damage as high as you could possibly go, you know, that's that much more crit damage you're landing over a matter of basically a second, right? It's DPS. Your DPS goes up, basically. There's a level, there's a what do we call it? There's probably a threshold, a point where you can have a diminishing return, and for me that's around like 60%, anywhere over 60% in weapon handling. I feel like doesn't pay me back. And I did do a lot of testing on that, and I used the rail splitter to test all that out. But so you know, anywhere between 45 and 60% total weapon handling is that comfy zone. Where you're landing all your shots and then you're getting the DPS to top out. But that's really what we're talking about here. I mean, so it's a factor. So you can land less of your shots and put out more damage, or you can land more of your shots and put out more damage per second. If I'm saying that right? Am I saying that right? So yeah, so think about that. Just a little mind twister. But finding a comfy place between weapon handling and power is sort of the idea. You really don't want to overdo it in either or. But Striker with the CTAR is kind of insane, right? It's a little. It almost seems like too much, especially with the rail splitter. But it does it really well. I mean, that's shredding right there. I mean, again, this is only 92% crit damage. So I'm running Obliterate. I still got on Concussion. So the only thing that changed was the weapon between this and the Bighorn. And this is not a rail splitter build. I'm just sort of making a point here with weapon handling. And so just watch that time to kill. 4 directives, heroic, control points. These are elites, and they're dying really fast. And I would be killing them faster, except I have to be careful because that special ammo hits really hard, and I have armor break on as well, so I don't heal up really fast. I don't heal up all the way, I should say. Even though I have 20% armor on kill, it's with the armor break you don't heal up all the way. So, but yeah, do you see that? I mean, that's just shredding really fast. That's just shredding really fast. Look at that. Look at that. So yeah, it feels really good. Weapon handling, I feel like, you know, pays off in the damage per second department. And you don't need to roll as many crits on it. So, I mean, if you're missing all your shots, right? I mean, that's kind of the thing about like how I look at the LMG, right? The LMG is the extreme other side of the equation. When you're running an LMG, I mean, it's got worse off handling than an assault rifle, right? It's got less optimal range. The rate of fire is usually slower. And the power is about comparable, but I find the assault rifles seem to be a little bit stronger. But what you do get with the LMGs is you get a larger mag, right? You get 100 rounds in many of those. But what's the point if you're missing all your shots, right? Because the LMGs, I mean, you're just not landing very many shots, right? So, well, the point is, there is a point. The point is the LMG is actually a support weapon. It's not intending to land all its shots. So it's intending to suppress enemies. And not many people use LMGs like that in this game. I think the only time players use LMGs correctly in this game, the way they're intended to be played, is in Iron Horse when you're suppressing the snipers between boss 2 and 3. I think that's the only time I've seen LMGs used correctly in this game. most of the time we're using them to as a DPS weapon, and they're just not as good as assault rifles. Just put them side by side. Put them side by side. An assault rifle and a you know, like the police M4 and, you know, your average you know, LMG, and look at the stats. You're like, oh wow, they're really close stat wise, but the assault rifle wins out on almost everything except for the mag size. And what's good about having all those bullets if you're gonna miss all those shots? I don't know. Well, that's because the LMG is intended to miss shots. It's a suppression weapon. That's in this game. Now I know if you're a military man or woman, then you might say something different, like, oh well, in the real world, and you know, you pull out a saw, I mean, that thing's just gonna cut people in half. Yeah, I get that. I get that. But in this game, for some reason, they designed it a little bit differently. You know. What's up, Suro? How are you, buddy? Joining in late, but glad you're catching up. Glad you're catching this. We're in the same time zone, so I'm sure that makes it a little bit easier. You've been running the chameleon build lately? Yeah. That's a nice one. I love the chameleon. Love the chameleon. Got a 10,000 builds for it. Really easy to run it. The only thing that I wish that it had is a little bit more upfront damage, you know, a little more burst damage. Obviously, once those stacks kick in on the body shots and then on the crits, it feels really good. But I wish it has a little bit I wish it had a little bit more upfront kick to it, but it feels good to run it with Hunter's Fury. I don't know if you guys have seen that build I created a long time ago, running the chameleon with the Hunter's Fury. I have a chameleon build series. It starts off with a controversial question: which is a better SMG, the chameleon or the Dark Winter? Okay, I'm gonna give you another quick look at the build. So I'm gonna be running the bighorn again. So I'm gonna put this CTAR away. And this is gonna give us 130% crit damage. And the idea here is to go in full auto on the head. Again, I'm running the Striker's Mask. You can run it with weapon damage, but I got full crits on that. And then the second piece of Striker for my knees, it's got weapon damage and weapon handling. And then the holster is exactly the same, weapon damage and weapon handling. All right. And then the chest piece is Cheska. We're critted out all the way, and I'm running Obliterate. I was tempted to do Glass Cannon. My backpack is Bellstone for armor regen and armor on kill. I'm running Concussion, and we're critted out. And then I got an all red with crits, second piece of Bellstone. Now you can run that with armor and just roll weapon damage on your mask. So you don't have to farm an all red Bellstone if you don't have one. Just clean up my stash and away we will go. Gotta make room for that new gear. I'm farming Badger here, so I'm still looking for this. I want a Badger chest that has ideally spotter. Oh, look at, there's a hunter right there. You see that cloud of smoke? That puff? That was a stalker hunter, and that would have been ghost. So this is where you summon the ghost hunter. You guys didn't know. Sometimes he's just standing right there over the True Sons, and they don't notice him, and he doesn't shoot at him. But yeah, so let's see. So put back on the bighorn. So we're gonna have a lot more power because of the headshot damage that this thing gives, but it's got a little bit of an upfront kick on it. And what I mean is to its weapon handling, the stability is a little more difficult up front, and then it levels off a little bit. So the RPM feels pretty good because I'm now running. Oh, I mean, not because I'm now running, but I'm running this the Striker set, so that's gonna makes the RPMs feel really good on this weapon. Basically, Striker fixes any of the assault rifles that need to be fixed. It's like if the assault rifle feels bad, Striker fixes it. That's sort of, I feel like it's made for assault rifles. But let's see what chat says. Nice to watch you live. Hey, yeah, welcome, Dr. Big. Appreciate that, man. We're doing a lot live for this event because I'm farming the hell out of it. So I'll show you guys my how many red stars after this engagement. Weapon handling, does it help on the chameleon? Yeah, it does, definitely. I mean, try the chameleon with, you don't need much on certain builds. Like with the The build I ran yesterday, if you guys didn't see that one, just check it out. But that one, I had 14%. Oh no, what was I running? 16% weapon handling, and that was enough for a sniper build. That's all you need. Feels really good. I was also running sharpshooter, which helps out in that department too. So it just varies on how much you need from one weapon to the next. But the chameleon is actually pretty stable. I mean, sometimes when you shoot it, it doesn't feel that cool because it's like, you know, it's all electronic, right? And it's just like, it doesn't have much of a kick or anything. But when you add weapon handling and even the RPMs, it does, you know, help that tighten up that firing pattern a little bit. So it does feel good. It does feel good. But, you know, with the chameleon, again, where it lacks, and this is how I take a look at things, right? I was like, well, what is this gun missing? And the chameleon's not really missing stability as much as it's missing upfront burst damage. So I look for my stats to basically fill in that gap. But yeah, good question. Good question. But yeah, the chameleon, running the chameleon with the striker is pretty popular. I have a few builds that run it that way. But check out the chameleon build that I did, build series that I did. There's I think at least 3 builds in there, if not 4. But it's a lot of fun. Yeah, Malcolm is talking about, yeah, 4-piece striker, memento with intimidate. Yeah, that sounds right. I did another one running spotter on a build too. I ran spotter on a chameleon setup, and which means I was running the mask. What do you call it? The Night Watcher mask, so that I had that maximum uptime on the pulse. So, but yeah, Chameleon's a lot of fun. But, you know, I'm not running it with this event, mostly because, you know, this event's really, you know, headshots. Yeah, I was built 4. Gotcha. Or you saying 4-piece striker? John B asks, do you go in the dark zone, and what build do I use in the dark zone? It's been a good month or so since I've been in the dark zone, and I feel like every time I go in there, I remember why I don't like to go in there. So I was actually, but I did go through my phases where I did a lot of dark zone, and it's just, I don't know. It's not super fun. It's hit or miss in there, right? And I like to work on my builds or whatever. But the last build I ran in there was a sniper build, actually. And that was to do something kind of different. I was running 4-piece system corruption with a perfect glass cannon piece, a pristine example, oh, not pristine example, but the sacrifice. And then I was running the nemesis, which I'm not very good at using. But I basically wanted to be an invisible sniper lurking in the shadows. And I was throwing out my decoy to hide my name tag. And system corruption helps you stay invisible a little bit too. And it was great. It was fun. You know, it was just, I was basically hiding in the shadows about 20, 25 meters out. And as the rogues, you know, in manhunts or whatever, as they came out, I would, you know, tag them in the chest or in the head, and they would drop. It wouldn't take much. But I'm not that good at the nemesis. I'm sure if for those of you that are spent a little time practicing that weapon, you'd probably be better at it than I am. But yeah, you know, and so, but when I did go in the dark zone, I would be running, I don't think anything too surprising. I like concussion, not concussion, I'm sorry. What's the other one? The trauma. I like trauma actually with an assault rifle build, because people panic when they go blind. And then I would run the blinder firefly as a skill to back it up so I can double blind them if I need to. But yeah, so that's a lot of fun. You know, just double blind them, riot with it, and then my other skill would be the usually riot foam, and then just an assault rifle, and then what you could imagine from there what you would add, obliterate, you know, Fenris, Grupo, Cheska, that kind of type of stuff. Fox's knee prayers, Fox's prayer knee pads. I mean, Fox's knee prayers. So yeah, you know, it was but so I guess trauma. And then I look at, you know, I look at those talents that you can proc that don't require a kill. So, and then sometimes I'd run Adrenaline Rush and Intimidate like everybody else does. Trying to remember some of the other builds that I created. And there, Striker's fun to use. Yeah, I don't know. Memory's not serving me well here for the Dark Zone because it's been so long since I've spent a lot of time in there where I was experimenting with builds. But yeah, the latest build that I remember liking was, you know, the trauma set, and that's just because how players react to it. When they go blind and they're in the open, it's panic time, and it should be. And it should be. This guy's good. This Sergeant Zhang is a pain in the ass, this Grenader. I guess the other day I was talking about how this game has a few NPCs that they use your aim assist against you on, and this is one of them. So she'll be slow, and she's right there out of cover, and it's just a surprise. It's just amazing how many shots you're not hitting, and that's because the game uses aim assist against you. I can feel my controller dragging against the current. She's going this way, and my controller's going that way, and it's just enough to miss a lot of your shots. A pain in the ass. Yeah, Wicked Trauma is great. Yeah, get the damage off of that, and then bleed. It's like that with bleed too, but some people just kind of power through the bleed, you know, and then you can run Sadist, gives you a little up from burst and damage too. But I don't like running weapons like the Dark Winter. That just doesn't make a lot of sense to me, because see, the Dark Winter only works when you get a kill. So yeah, I mean, if you're just chain killing fools in the Dark Zone, then yeah, that talent makes sense, but most people aren't, right? The Dark Zone, basically the way it works is you die, they die, you die, they die, you die, they die, you die, they die, and the game's over. You know, it's just like, and that's sort of what I don't like about the Dark Zone. And I mean, you guys hear me complain about this before, but the biggest problem for me in the Dark Zone is not so much that, but it's, you know, it's mostly the spawning situation. It's just that, like, we're so far away from where the fight can be. I don't like that. There's not much I can do about that. I get that, but what I don't like is that you can spawn in the same door as a rogue, and then they shoot you in the back as you're running to the fight, and that just really sucks. What 77 says, hey, I thought I was the only one who used this as the bighorn. You might be. This is a really good event to break it out, guys. Dust it off for this event. You know, if you're going for headshots, which you should be, to eliminate the zombie situation, then the bighorn is a really good weapon. So, I mean, you could also, it's a good zero, kind of a good 0Fs, but I'm gonna trash it. I got one better. Yeah, a lot of junk. I haven't been getting good gear. I mean, a lot of stuff that I already have, of course. I'm just looking for this one chest piece. I want spotter on a badger with crit chance and crit damage already on it. I have to have spotter already on it, and crit chance and crit damage already on it. All those things have to already be on it in order for it to work. The map isn't that great today, so I feel like the only thing that's worth farming. I hate going up north. It's just inconvenient between the control points as far. So I'm running 4 directives, as you can see here, which is a pain in the ass. I'm probably going to turn these off in a minute so you can see how these builds really perform. Not as impressive when you're running directives. I feel like it puts a dampener on the mood, so to speak. Let's see what Dr. Big is giving us. Okay, 3 Gila, 2 Golem, 1 Bellstone, 60% crit chance maxed out. 170% crit hit damage, respectable. Intimidate and adrenaline rush, but it is hard to stay alive there. But you are running 6 blues. Should I change to 4 blues? Is it better for DZ? It's sort of, you know, that's the hard part about the DZ. Good question. Really good question. I mean, it opens up a big topic, though. Let me set that aside here real quick. Just make sure you guys see the build for those who jumped in a little bit late. But seeing if I can switch my chest piece to this. I don't think I have one here. But looking for a belt, see if I have a Bellstone chest piece. Gives me some more options for the build, but I don't think I have one that I need. With all the farming I do in Bellstone, it still amazes me that I don't have the options that I'm looking for. And I farm Bellstone all the time. And my stash is always full, and it's really annoying. I mean, I just deleted, just before the stream, I just deleted a little bit to make room for stuff, but yeah, so, but to answer your question, anyways, I'm thinking about changing over to Bloodsucker for a few minutes to see if that's gonna make the build perform better. Like, I mean, we got so much damage, you know, maybe Bloodsucker is a good way to go, but I have a feeling it's not, just so you know. I rarely use Bloodsucker, because every time I look at Bloodsucker, I go, I might as well run a Memento. Right, because a Memento has basically Bloodsucker and Unstoppable mixed into it, so in a way, right? And more, and then you get armor regen on top of that, and, you know, all that other good stuff, right? So, but I'm gonna give it a whirl and see how it performs with this build. So we're basically losing 25% weapon damage. Okay, Dr. Big, I'll get back to you here in just a second. So we're gonna lose 25% weapon damage for some bonus armor, but I wanna see if that helps our situation when it comes to like sort of running and gunning, which I really shouldn't be doing. The bighorn isn't that great of a run and gun weapon, so you know. You should be playing in cover with it, kind of going cover to cover, you know, still kind of moving about, but popping in cover, spending a little bit of time and clearing out the area and then moving to the next piece of cover, but so I'm playing really aggressive with it, but you really should be holding out to about like 15 meters. 15 to 20 meters is probably the sweet spot for this weapon. But pulling in close like this is really not that good of an idea with the bighorn. And so like right here, like that guy would have been dead if I didn't have Bloodsucker. He should have been dead. So I just got smeared all over the floor. And that's right there is a good example where where Bloodsucker is like, we're better off with concussion, because you know time to kill again is survivability, right? So you need to erase fools quickly, and Bloodsucker sort of just takes away from that. And then where if you're running something like the Memento, you know, you can get that bonus armor, you can get weapon damage at the same time. It does require a kill, but then in between kills, for 5 seconds, you get those perks holding up for you. So, and then you got the long-term buffs, of course. But anyways, we'll run Bloodsucker, give it a try for a little bit, just so you guys can see. Maybe it's your style. Yeah, let's just see how it goes. But yeah, Dr. Big, so, you know, the question is, you know, is how many blues should I run in the DZ? And it's the same question that it's just the same question that I just posed to you, Bloodsucker versus Concussion. And so you can go one way or the other, but for you in the Dark Zone, that just depends on who you're up against, right? And that's just a big variable. Here I am running out of cover, but I shouldn't be. But I mean, you might, if you come across another tank, then I don't know if you're going to be running around out of cover, you want to out DPS somebody, if you want to face tank them, then you need that armor. You know, everything works a little bit different in protection. I mean, in PvE, I say it's not how much armor you have, it's how fast you recover. And I would say that's not so true in PvP, because that recovery, you're not taking on a whole battalion. You're usually just taking on 1 or 2 guys at a time, 4 at the most, obviously. So I always take the way I work with my PvP is I look at it as a one-man battle. Like that one enemy, that's the battle, right? That's the whole thing. And so I'm not worried about the second kill. I'm always worried about just the first kill. That's the most important thing, is that first kill. So one kill at a time, just build around that, you know. And so, but I've come across tanks. I've been a tank, but I've come across tanks where they'll use the Lady Death and be really, really tanky. And what makes them good is if they can get you to miss a lot of your shots, I think. If you're a tank, if you can get somebody to miss a lot of their shots, but you're still landing your shots, and then you kind of run around and let your armor build back up, you sort of exhaust them to death. So this thing's hitting really nicely, but I just don't feel like the Bloodsucker's helping me here. Not at all, as a matter of fact. Like, what is this bonus armor doing for me? Nothing. So I just feel like, you know, you can try to, I guess, out-sustain an enemy. It's just one way to do it, and I've seen it being done and done really well. But if that same person comes against somebody who's got a hell of a lot of DPS and is fighting them, you know, from an assault rifle range, then they're gonna get shredded before they even get to you with that little Lady Death, right? So, yeah, I don't know. There's just so many different situations in the Dark Zone. I feel like there's never a right answer. But what I can say though is that there's a reason why there's also not a lot of build diversity on the DPS side of things, because you know, you have to look at it from one kill at a time, and things like Adrenaline Rush and Intimidate is just the strongest combo in there, you know. I mean, even stronger than Hunter's Fury. Like, Hunter's Fury for me, and I know people run in there and it can work for them, but it doesn't make a lot of sense, right? Because you don't need armor on kill if you're just worried about that first kill. So and that disorienting enemies around the kill doesn't make sense either. That's not going to help you in that one battle. You either live or you don't through that first fight, right? I mean, it just comes down to that. You either live or you don't. So, you know, I've always appreciated the guys actually that go in there with like glass cannon, whatever. Here's the trick. Okay, this is what I boil it down to. Let me just boil it down to this. So, and the reason why I appreciate those guys with glass cannon is because if you can get the jump, then you win, because, you know, you got so much DPS that if you get the jump on the enemy, then, you know, it's game over. But I would say, like, the key to the Dark Zone is being really good at flagging up, being the first to go rogue, surprise roguing, you know, so to speak, right? Because, and that's why those guys, you know, that do really well as rogues and rank up their manhunt and all that stuff, it's because they're really good at going rogue, right? They hit that flag faster than anybody, and they're not afraid to go on the offensive, right? Where a lot of players are sort of too nice to go rogue, and I'm that way. I don't like going rogue. I feel like I hit that rogue button and it doesn't work. I feel like I hit it and I was like, why didn't I go rogue? I'm sitting here and I start shooting and I was like, I didn't go rogue. I'm shooting at the guy. Now he knows I'm gonna go rogue. And then he goes rogue and then he kills me. You know, it's just like, what? So I'm not really good. I'm not good at going rogue at all, actually. I don't like that feature. I feel like you should have an A team and a B team and you guys are fighting each other, right? Like Conflict. But the going rogue side of things is like, I'm really bad at going rogue. But for those that go rogue, again, they got that jump on you, right? Even if they get only 10 bullets in you, I mean, you know, what is that? How much damage is that, right? 1 million damage on you, or what? Are you dead? Right? So, and all I gotta say is that I get shot by rogues a lot in the back as I'm coming out of the spawn point. So I know that most of them, again, that's just an element of surprise, even though it's sort of lame. Like the biggest lamest thing in the world, but that's what they're good at. That's what rogues are good at, shooting you in the back. That's kind of the point of it, right? Is to surprise attack you. Anyways, that's, I think, the key to being good in the Dark Zone. So again, if you just look at it from that perspective, it kind of comes down to that first kill. It's all about burst damage, burst damage, burst damage, burst damage, burst damage. And you can't really have enough burst heals. And the DZ, it's not going to make sense. This guy's going to shotgun me in the face. Yeah, so if I had concussion right there, he wouldn't have made it. So I don't think Bloodsucker's that good. But then again, you know, you don't have to be running 4 directives either. That might help. But I'm gonna take off this concussion in a minute. So, what's up, Lorenzo? Appreciate you coming in from Serbia. It's our only Division 2 player in Serbia. What 77? If I play Raid, can I try to join the people on Discord and PC? I watch a few vids. Yeah, for sure. For sure, man. I mean, I think the best part is best way to get us hooked up with the clan to raid is to jump in on Discord. Clans are always raiding. Yeah, Malcolm Gales calls it out. I've seen players with 2 million armor in the DZ. Yeah, I mean, it's also, you know, those players that go in there with the big bulwark shield and the Liberty, you know, and then they're running an all red build. That's sort of the same thing, right? Because that bulwark shield is basically a set of armor on you. So that's another way to do it, right? So you can run 6 red cores and then a big bulwark shield or something, or 5 red cores and a bulwark shield, or something in between. Just got to get good with your headshots, though, of course. And that's the other thing, you know, get good with your headshots. I think the more you can land those, the more battles you're going to fight, because even those guys with the striker shields or whatever, you're going to be able to neutralize them. Roberto Salazar. I'm on the Xbox. What's up, Miguel? Hope all is good. So we are fine-tuning this bighorn build. We're running concussion up initially, and then I just put on Bloodsucker to see if that was a good way to go. And I didn't like it. I feel like it took too much away from our DPS. And I really like that 50% weapon damage we're getting combined from Obliterate on the chest, and then the 25% that's coming from concussion on the backpack. Basically, we're always getting headshot kills. We're always landing headshots, so we're not 100% of the time at 25% on our backpack, but often enough to say it's reliable. You do want to run gunner with this build, especially if you're honing in on the headshots, because you do rip through ammo. Any striker build, I feel like, is that way. God, these guys and their grenades. Any striker build, I feel like you just rip through ammo, and especially if you're going with headshots. But the bighorn does a really good job at staggering people too, by the way, which is really handy. I hate the grenadier ladies. Their grenades are horrible. That special ammo's not fun either. But I think for the next control point, I'll take off the directives, so you guys can see how this build performs. Now that I know this is the way to run it. It's 5:25 in Serbia, huh? Making coffee and watching the Tux. Nothing better than that. Nope. Cup of Joe and the Tux on the YouTube. Hope all those of you that are in the U.S. had a really good Thanksgiving. Had my share of turkey, and still munching on leftovers. We made turkey soup. Yesterday was pretty good. Now I gotta worry about burning those cows. Burn those calories. I wish playing the Division 2 counted as exercise. I'll be one fit mofo because of all the cartwheels I do. Yeah, this feels really good on the head, guys. It just those heads. I mean, the non-elites are just like, forget about it. I mean, they're not surviving whatsoever. It's definitely overpowered for them. Does really well on the elites. So let's see. Watch it kill both these guys in a single clip. See, they're just. I mean, they're paperweights. They don't even exist. Non-elites just don't exist with this gun, with this build. So that blind firing on the head, you see that? That's pretty good. That's pretty good right there. Be able to do that. So again, I got weapon handling on the knees, weapon handling on the holsters, so there's 16%. And then strikers giving me another 15%, so that's basically 31%. And then we got, I think 10% on our watch. Is not what the watch gives us, is it 10%? So I think that's 41% right there. Now when I'm holding still, which I'm never doing, look at that, just completed that challenge. So 100 headshots for today's challenge. And then when I'm sitting still, we'll get another 10% weapon handling, and that's just never happening. I'm being a bad example. But it does, you know, when I do, you'll see that, you know, you can just reach those guys across the field and hone in on their head. But God forbid they charge you like that, because they will not survive. But yeah, I mean, there's also, you know, aiming at the head is difficult. So with an assault rifle, it does mean you are missing a lot of shots too. So it's going to pull down from your accuracy, even with the weapon handling that you have. So you got to make sure you have a lot of ammo. Make sure you're built up on ammo to use a build like this. I'm going to do another build on that CTAR. I actually really like the way that it was pretty surprising how well it was handling with this build. I think I could make it even stronger, but with like concussion and striker and running the rail splitter, I'm gonna work on that a little bit and take it up a notch, and then I'll show you that. Maybe that'll be tomorrow's stream. Maybe I'll work on that rail splitter build. What do you guys think? Would you like to see that? Do you, anybody here got the rail splitter? Maybe that's the question to ask. You guys know what I'm talking about, the rail splitter? Dark Stormy, what's going on from Australia? All right. Our Australia boys are starting to show. It's probably 2 o'clock in your afternoon over there, maybe a little later. I'm starting to know my time zones because of all my peeps from around the world. Yeah, braced on the bighorn. Okay, here's the deal, guys. That's a good question. That's a good point you brought up, Miguel. Let's talk about brace. So brace gives you 45% weapon handling, right? Which is awesome, no doubt. The problem with using braced is that we only have 3 talent slots. That's all we have, right? So we have one in our chest, one in our backpack, and one in our weapon. So to lose one of our talent slots to weapon handling, I think hurts a lot, because you can add weapon handling to your build using secondary attributes. I wish you could do it with mods. I wish they changed that so that you can do it with mods too. And you can mod your weapon on top of that to get that handling. But the chest talent is big for an assault rifle build, right? I mean, obliterate is 25% weapon damage. That's a lot. That's a core and a half, right? That's a weapon damage core and a half, basically. Or you can be running glass cannon or whatever, you know, whatever you choose. But where you could just use your secondary attributes to, and your mods on your weapon to also do the same thing to get 45% weapon handling. And moreover, you're not restricted to cover for that to work. And I know you should be playing from cover a lot as well, so it's not that a big a deal part of it, but it is something if you're not always in cover, depending on your playstyle. But Striker, so like Striker's giving us 15% weapon handling, and then I'm running. We're at 50. What I say we're at 41% weapon handling before Gunner right now. So we're basically at the same place. That Brace gives us. Oh, I forgot the bighorn itself has stability and accuracy on for its mods as well. So we're also getting that on top of the weapon handling. So, anyways, but I do like Brace. I'm not like super against Brace or anything like that. But things like where you have options, where there's a talent that gives you something that you could otherwise have on secondary attributes, where you have options to where to put that weapon handling, then I would rather run my weapon handling on secondary attributes, and then put on something like Glass Cannon or Obliterate or whatever else on my chest piece, just because we only have 3 talent slots, but we have 6 secondary attribute slots. And to hit 45% isn't that hard. You could also do there's many ways to get the weapon handling, right? So you can also run your Fox's Knee Prayers and then run a second piece of Overlord and get I believe is it accuracy? I think that gives you, or stability, or run 2 pieces of Fenris or 3 pieces of Fenris, right? Or the contract 2 pieces of Petrov, right? Where your contractor's gloves and wear a second piece of Petrov, and that gives you weapon handling as well. So I guess my point is there's a lot of ways to get weapon handling on your build, but you only have 3 talent slots, so you want to spend those wisely. And I like to preserve my talent slots for damage, usually. Not so much for survivability, unless I'm doing something like Adrenaline Rush or whatever on the backpack. But even like Emmeline's Guard, the SMG, right? That gives you perfect preservation, which gives you I think it's 22%, up to 22% armor on kill. But I'd rather have armor on kill on my build, again, by running like 2 pieces of Bellstone or 1 piece of 511 or both, or System Corruption, because to lose that weapon slot to defense really hurts. It sort of hurts, because then I have to find a way to make up for that damage that I otherwise would have had. And and I'm not a damage horde, so I like balanced builds, so that's not what I'm talking about. But it's mostly just about our talents being so precious, our talent slots being really precious. But I look forward to the day that we get more talent slots. I think we're due. What do you guys think? We're running the same. I mean, I think if we got more talents is what I mean, not talent slots, but more talents, boy, wouldn't that open up our build diversity? It would be cool. I would like to see actually armor on kills. A defensive talent slot would be cool, or something that gave us more crit damage on our chest or our backpack. More damage options on our backpack would be nice. I don't know. What would you guys like to see? What talent would you like out there? I think more RPM. We could use more RPM modifiers as well. I mean, we basically have Striker and that's it, right? Isn't that it? There's nothing else really. I mean, Gunner gives us a little bit, but I would love to see more RPM in this options. Because I think RPM makes a big deal. It's a big deal to add RPM to your weapon. That's pure DPS. That's raw DPS. Beautiful. Yeah, I like this song too, man. Eddie. Anthony, tomorrow you don't have the rail splitter? Are you farming this event? I hope so. You got a good shot of getting it. So the rail splitter that I have is God rolled. I've had multiple rail splitters. Some I've actually gotten from the Dark Zone. But my God rolled one I got from farming an event just like this. There's really only 2 events that I play. It's this one and Golden Bullets. Not a fan of the others. But yeah, so my Virginian build, I got triple God rolled. Do you guys realize how much of an epic battle that ended up being? Like, it was all going nice and smooth, and then that convoy just sort of came out of nowhere. I didn't even notice them. I don't know if you guys were paying attention, but I didn't notice that convoy, and they just came out of nowhere, and it was like, holy shit. Turned into an epic battle, but at like the last minute. But we survived. It was sort of a rough start in this area, but I think we finished strong. So you're farming it now, yeah, that's good. It's hard, you know. You know, if you watched my yesterday's build, Anthony, I think you were on the stream yesterday. I can't remember, but check that one out yesterday. It's the one. What did we call that one, guys? It was called. Oh yeah, it's called. It was a live stream. It was called Best DPS ? And then it was the subtitle is called One Tapping Elites. And I was running my Mantis build, which is I'm going to take off the directives, guys, because I want you guys to see how this build really performs an everyday battle like you would normally run, which is without directives. So we're just gonna have a change of pace now. But you know, we only have a couple days left of this event, which is sad. This event will end on Monday night, so make sure that you spend all your red stars by Monday night. All right, because by Tuesday at basically midnight, they will be unspendable. They do not carry over. And I'm getting nothing but junk. I was hoping to get maybe another 30% protection from elites, but that's not happening apparently. But yeah, so we only have a couple days left is my point. And so, you know, efficient farming. And for me, there was nothing faster than the build I was running yesterday. The one tapping bosses build. It was a Mantis 3-piece striker. Mantis 3-piece aces build with Sawyer's knee pads. And I was running Headhunter on the chest and Vigilance on the back and just cleared content really fast. So here we are. I'm just showing the Bighorn build. Again, we're on concussion and not bloodsucker. And I took off. We're still on heroic, still have the event, but I took off the directives. So we're running 0 directives now. So you should get a better feel of how the build is actually going to perform. And now I'm going to fast travel over to Crash Site just to change up the scenery a little bit. 3:40 p.m. in Australia. Yeah, it was close. Close enough. Welcome, Dark. Appreciate you, man. Hey, Tux, was that Tux NZ? Are you in? Oh yeah, you are in New Zealand. Okay, I was just gonna say I was about to guess. What up, Tux? Finally managed to catch a live stream all the way in New Zealand. All right, love my Kiwis. I lived in Argentina for a little over 3 years, and my roommate was a Kiwi. His name was Frank Bayer. Really cool guy. Travels a lot. But yeah, good people. Really relaxed. By the way, guys, you know, if you saw the Shotguns Akimbo build, also a perfect blend. I was using video clips of a movie called Guns Akimbo, which has Harry Potter, you know, that actor, whatever his name is, I don't know it. But he's from New Zealand. And I believe that movie was filmed in New Zealand as well. It was actually a really good movie. I liked Guns Akimbo. Not many people know about it. I don't think it made like big headlines or anything like that. I remember seeing some previews on it a long time ago before it came out. But I don't know, maybe COVID hit or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, no, yeah, you can see this weapon's performing really well. We're basically gonna clear this whole control point out before these civilians even get here. So getting rid of that special ammos right alone is gonna improve my survivability because there was a lot of special ammo. I mean, notice how fast these purples, these non-elites, veterans, and whatever, how fast they die. It's amazing. Non-elites die real fast, but even elites, there you go. I mean, this guy, you can tell when you land a headshot, you know, because their armor will be pretty high and just takes a couple of headshots and then woof, it drops really low. I mean, look at, do you see those big jumps down in armor that when you land those headshots? I mean, look at the distance I'm taking this guy's head off at, right? We're pretty far out. They escaped though, but. Eddie Carico says, I'm running the rail and shield splitter tonight. Yeah, spotter and vigilance. Ton of fun. Yeah, so the rail splitter and the shield splinter. This guy's backpack is being stubborn today. I usually could take out his backpack pretty easy. Then I got the guy wailing on me from upstairs. But he always gets me with one of those grenades. Just inevitably, which is it's kind of dumb because it's like there's like 10 other people shooting at him and he magically lands a grenade right next to me. This game. Would using gunslinger talent boost the damage 6 on the pestilence? It would. It would, because that does improve weapon damage and it's amplified. It's just that you'd be switching to an LMG and there's going to be a distance related to that. Yeah, AG, but I think gunslinger it improves weapon damage, right? Gives you, what is it, 20? Isn't it 20% weapon damage? It's actually additive weapon damage, so it's not amplified like versatile is, because there's versatile, which is the backpack version of that, which is actually stronger than gunslinger. So versatile, but I'm not sure what it is for LMGs because I only use versatile for shotguns and SMGs, so it's always at that close range. But from long range, well, I don't know what it would do for the LMG. Like, at what range does it apply to LMGs? Does it even apply to LMGs? But I would imagine it does. You'd have to test it out in the dark zone, but in theory, it would increase it by 20%. But I like using, with my pestilence, I like using I just like going straight up glass cannon. You're playing from cover anyway. Spotter works okay. Spotter works good too. If you guys haven't seen that a pestilence build series I created, that's a must watch. We get 1.4 up to 1.4 million. It was like 1.38 or something like that, but million damage and a ton of survivability. So that's the thing. Like with things like the pestilence, you take so much damage in legendary, especially out of trying to shoot from cover. Your head is obviously popping out. You got to try to pump 50 rounds into a single guy, and so you're gonna take a lot of damage. So you need to be able to take damage while you're dishing damage. That's the objective of the pestilence, and that's why I don't like these all red pestilence builds. They don't make any sense to me. I mean, you do want to have all your weapon damage cores maxed out. So you do want 6 weapon damage cores maxed, but from there you should be looking at armor regeneration or repairs. Armor repairs is actually probably better because you're not running any armor. And then things like armor on kill on top of that and stuff like that. Or protection from elites. Yeah, the pestilence is dangerous as fuck. It says group of unknowns. Welcome, brother. How are you? 4-piece hunters, armor cores with crit hits, obliterate, vigilance, apartment. Very nice. Or the grudge for additional crit. I don't like the grudge. Not a big fan. Doesn't feel very good. Plus, you know, you're better off with something like Dark Winter. Or the Chameleon. Chameleon's a better version of Dark Winter, in my opinion. Scorpio with Gunner. Great. Got some armor back, but wickedly strong. Yeah, that's a good build, man. I don't think anybody could argue with you there. Are you running a shield with that? I'm assuming yes, because you're running Vigilance. So I would guess that you're running a shield. So Vigilance is protected by shields, guys. So if your shield takes damage, it doesn't count as you taking damage. So you can keep your shield up and protect your Vigilance. Jonathan Franklin, brother, I'm glad you made one. I think you made a stream before, but it's been a couple of streams. But welcome, man. Yeah, the Chameleon is slapping right now. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, and with that build, you know, I like Obliterate and Vigilance combo. I really like that combo. That's a great combo. I actually like running that with my Chameleon, too. Yeah, you are running the shield. Yeah, okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I'm not a big shield player, but that in those circumstances, the shields make sense, guys. Like, it's an offensive use of the shield, right? So he's running the shield because he wants to preserve vigilance. And so he's running the shield so he has more damage. Does that make sense? Because if he takes any damage on his body, he's going to lose vigilance. So, 115 stars. That's where we're at, guys. I'm trying to get to 160. So, here's a high level. I'm going to pause here real quick, but here's a high level of the build. I'm going to make sure you guys get one last look at this build. So you know where we settled off at, but so I've got the bighorn, of course. I'm not going to talk through this. I'm going to talk through our comments and questions, but it's stayed pretty consistent. We were testing a couple of other pieces, but ultimately where we started is where we ended, which is concussion and all that weapon handling. So feels really good, guys. Feels really good. I think tomorrow I'm going to focus in on that rail splitter and put together a nice rail splitter build for you. I think it makes sense for this event too. I got 2 more days on this event, guys, so make sure you take advantage of it. I'm at 116 stars. I'm trying to get to 160 red stars, and then I'm going to open up 20 named item caches for you and show you if Lady Luck is on our side with these bad boys. And there we are with our stats. 55% crit chance, 102% crit damage. So notice the headshot damage is a -5 now. It was 5% earlier, but the headshot damage is glitching. I think it's probably because I have the bighorn equipped. But the bighorn alone is giving us 100. Well, when we're fully stacked, it's giving us 100% headshot damage. The mod on it gives us 30% headshot damage. And then I got headshot, another 10% headshot damage from my watch or whatever. So keep that in mind. We got a little bit of health damage from the assault rifle too. And then here's our armor on kill, which is 20%. A little bit of armor regen as well. But so the stats are pretty straightforward. We don't have a lot of quick head damage. We don't need it because we got all that headshot damage. We're basically going for all of headshots there. So a lot of raw weapon damage as well. We got 25% from concussion on our backpack, and then another 25% from obliterate on our chest. So that's a lot of raw weapon damage. So that's doing the trick. And then of course make sure you run gunner because you need the ammo too. So keep that in mind. Yeah, I think the bighorn is underrated, but group, I also think that you really got to run weapon handling with that thing. It's a beast. I think if you don't, it's sort of one of those situations, you're missing so many shots. So many of your bullets are going around the enemy's head. Like, think about that. Efficiency and landing bullets. You might be better off with something else if you don't roll weapon handling. And so I feel like Striker is the way to go with the bighorn. And for me, it's the only way I would go. But to somebody else's point earlier, I think you can also go with braced on the chest, that's another way to go, but I just rather have that damage available for that chest talent to go to the weapon. So, but yeah, so I hope you guys like this build. I hope you guys are enjoying this event. Anybody got any red star numbers to brag about? So I got 116 red stars. I'm playing every day. Not as long as I would like to, but making progress. Joaquin Montoya, how are you, brother? Hope all is well on your side too, man. Appreciate you jumping in. Let me jump around here to... There we go. Yeah, so this is basically... here's the mask. So, it's kind of me just getting warmed up here. But... So I have the directives back on for this fight. So I got 4 directives. I didn't want to run with pistolero just because I'm running this assault rifles and they use a lot of ammo. So it would have been a pain in the butt. Yeah, Zeke, good question. Zeke asks if I've been saving my stars. Yeah, so my strategy with these events is I save all my stars and then I purchase named item caches is basically what I go for. Season caches are also okay. Like if you're looking for system corruption, that's the best way to get it. But it's such a gamble. So I feel like, you know, when you look at the list of things you could buy, for me, the most appealing is the named item caches, just because there's, from my experience, and I have been tracking it for myself and for you guys, there's a real high rate of Dark Zone exclusive gear coming out of those named item caches, but more importantly, the quality is really high too. You're gonna find that they're gonna be in the 75 percentile. So yeah, so I save all my red stars and I buy all of my named item caches at once and I open them all at once. And so that way I can keep track of what I'm getting and the quality and how many repeats I'm getting. And I'm tracking that for you and for myself. But so I find 60% of everything that I get out of named item caches are Dark Zone exclusive items. 60% is the average I get. So 6 out of 10 caches I open are Dark Zone exclusives. I almost surely get a Hollow Man's Mask and Empress Guard knee pads in every series that I open. And then from there it's random. But yeah, my God Rolled Rail Splitter, God Rolled Virginian, those all came from named item. My Hollow Man Mask with a skill damage already on it came from a cache. Same with my Death Grips. All my Death Grips probably came from a cache. I'm pretty sure they did. I've had like 4 or 5 since I started the game. I remember buying one from a vendor, but it wasn't that good, from a DZ vendor. But I have gotten some of this gear from the Dark Zone itself, but the Dark Zone, the quality I found was just not that good. So when the event ends, so probably on Monday, I'll have enough stars. As soon as I get to 160 stars, I will make that video for you guys. So probably on Monday, I'll do a video of me opening all those named item caches, and we'll do a Dark Zone gear looting video. So I hope to do that on Monday, but Tuesday at the latest. This next week is going to be a pretty good week. I'm going to, for you members, I'll be doing another classified build. I got a pretty exciting one for you members. It's very different than what we've done before. Definitely off meta and really cool. I'm having fun with it. Also, I will be declassifying a build for the rest of the community next week. And what day? Might be Tuesday. I might be doing that. Just depends on when I get those red stars for the named item caches and when I do that video. But so I'll probably be doing a declassified build video on Tuesday, most likely, and then I'll do a classified build video on Thursday, and then I'll do a members only stream on Thursday as well. If you guys can make that, that'd be great. And then we'll see how the rest of the week pans out from there. But yeah, this event will be over. Hey, did you guys also hear that we're gonna get another apparel event in December? And it's gonna be a brand new apparel event. It's not gonna be a rerun apparel event. So that's really cool. I like apparel events. That's where we get these masks, like the mask I'm wearing. So this mask I'm wearing is a replica of the mask my character is wearing. And it's called like the Balaclava something or other mask. But you can't get that mask in the open world. You only got it from an apparel event that came and went. And so yeah, so I like apparel events. I like getting new gear and spicing it up that way. Feels just as rewarding. It's sort of like the hunters, right? Killing the hunters and getting the mask. It's a vanity thing, but I like it. You know, I like collecting those masks. They're little trophies, and that's sort of the objective in the game, right? Is to collect your trophies. But why else do we play this thing? No, but I am into the lore of this game too. That's also a reason why I wear this mask, is to celebrate the lore of the game, the hunters, and the idea of the anonymous, you know, wearing our masks right behind our characters and maintaining a level. How do you say anonymity? Is that a word? Or am I making that up? But yeah, I appreciate that about this game too. The whole hunter side of things. So cool game. You know, anybody playing any other cool game out there? What about Battlefield? How many Battlefield players we got in this stream right now? I'm playing Battlefield right now too. I haven't started streaming it yet. I do have a second channel. It's called Tux2, Tuxtoo. You can get to that channel by going to this channel, and in the corner there's a link to my second channel on my banner. If you go to the banner of my channel, there's a link there to my second channel. I drop a link in the feed, but it's not that important right now. But we'll be asking you guys in the future feed to head on over there and give it a subscribe. I just opened up the channel. I haven't started promoting it yet, so. But I am going to be covering Battlefield on that channel, so I'm not going to cross over the content on this one. I'm going to keep this one clean. This is Tom Clancy Division stuff. Keep it clean for you guys. We're just getting started too. We're just getting started, guys, for real. Bico Division books. Hearts on Fire. You should check that one out. It's an audio book, but I've watched some of the behind the scenes stuff. Do you guys know who Katie Sackhoff is? You guys familiar with Katie Sackhoff? She's an actress from, I think probably most popular from Battlestar Galactica. But yeah, I went to high school with Katie Sackhoff, junior high and high school, so I wouldn't know her personally. And her brother as well. She's 1 year younger than me, I believe 1 year. And her brother's my age, but yeah, know her from back in the day. Haven't talked to her in years though. Probably since high school. I moved, well, I went to college out of town, and then I believe she moved down to California. So, but anyways, Katie Sackhoff took one of the lead roles in Hearts on Fire. So, what are you saying, Harry? You want Starbucks or? What does Harry say? Enjoyed your earlier stream with the sniper build. Didn't really use the White Death sniper rifle before today. Had fun running around DC, busting NPC skulls. Yeah, oh, okay, I know what you're talking about. You're talking about Brain Slushy. Yeah, that's a really fun build. Uses the Virginian, the White Death, and the Regulus, and it's just lethal at all ranges. Yeah. And in yesterday's stream, Harry, if you didn't catch that one, I was running the Mantis. I put together a really good Mantis build for yesterday, and that thing just, well, I literally felt like I was playing in story mode the game. Dr. Big, I got your answer for you on this 13% protection. I think I have an inside scoop on that not many people know. But Biko says she's also Katie Sackhoff was also in The Mandalorian. Yeah, I think I heard that too. She's in quite a few movies. They're usually sci-fi. She was also in what is it called? The Riddick. The Riddick with forget that guy's name now. The one from Fast and Furious. But she was in that Riddick movie. One of those ones where they were on a lost planet, and he's always on a lost planet in that movie. But there's some sort of outpost, and they were being attacked by these crazy wolf-like alien dog thingies. But yeah, Heart's on Fire. She goes behind the scenes. They do interviews with all the actors and actresses, and yeah, cool chick, really interesting. Yeah, never thought she would be an actress though. I mean, we were young, high school, junior high, but who would have thought? Who would have thought? But yeah. So now she's super famous. Really cool. But oh yeah, so the 13% protection from elites. How to get those? Okay, so my clan, I've confirmed, including myself, all of us got, and I think when I say all of us, it's like those that have it, it was like 8 out of 10, got it, their first 13% protection from elites playing Roosevelt Island on Legendary. So my first natural drop of protection from elites was playing Roosevelt Island on Legendary. And I got it from opening up, when you go over that airplane wing, and then like halfway through that little jog over to the next checkpoint, there's a black tusk lockbox that you open. It's sort of hidden. You kind of have to go through these boards that are leaning up. You do it all the time, so it's not that hidden. Everybody knows about it. It's not a secret. But that lockbox is where I got mine. But either way, Roosevelt Island is where everybody got their first 13% protection from elites. Now, I know people that have gotten their first outside of Roosevelt Island. I'm just saying that there's a higher rate. It's an unusual coincidence that the majority of us got our first win from Roosevelt Island playing Legendary. So, and I've been paying attention to this ever since, but like I play District Union on Legendary a lot, and all the Legendaries drop mods for some reason. I don't know why. God rolled mods. And what I'm noticing is that like when you go play at like District Union Arena, it's a different set of mods that you get than when you play Capital or Roosevelt. They're God rolled, but they're different. And so I feel like maybe the devs, or there's something in the game that dedicates certain mods to certain missions, depending on, and I don't know why. I think it might have to do with the faction zone that's underlining the game. The outcasts versus the hyenas and whatever. And so when you're playing Legendary, of course it's always Black Tusk or White Tusk, but the mission might still have something to do with the underlining faction and what gear they tend to drop. I don't know. That's all speculation, guys, and I don't like the fake news, so sorry. But my suggestion is, if you're looking for if you haven't gotten your first 13% protection from elites, then try playing Roosevelt Island on Legendary. And I think that your chances of getting it are greater if you do it when the map is invaded. So right after it invades, like on Tuesday, then go play Roosevelt Island on Legendary. So that's when I got mine, and I know other people that got it there too. And then once I got my first one, then I farmed the Summit Heroic 4 directives with targeted loot set to mods, and I got my second one in like within 10 floors, something like that. And first I tried doing it on Legendary in the Summit, so I set it to Legendary, and then I put on all the directives, and we played for like a couple of hours and no luck. And then I switched it to Heroic, and like somewhere between 0 and 10 floors, I got a max protection from elites mod. And I've heard that from other people too, even on the streams. Somebody mentioned that they got theirs in the Summit. I believe they mentioned it was their first one that they got in the Summit with 3 or 4 directives. So So yeah, so those are the two places I would look for him. But the other place that I got a 13% protection from Elite's mod was right in front of the viewpoint. What is it called? The one where the fight in the end is on the roof, and you got the jammer pulses up there. Viewpoint, isn't it? I think it's called Viewpoint. God, it's been a long time since I played missions. I don't play those heroic missions anymore. It's either legendary or nothing. But I think it's called Viewpoint. But I got one right in front of that also, and that was on heroic. But the trouble is, I don't know if that was part of the mission or if it was part of the open world, you know. But what I can say was that the map was invaded. So we do know that. Hope that helps. Yeah, it's really handy, those. I like those. If you can get 4 of them, I think that's the sweet spot. If you can get 4 of them. But I've had 3 forever. And I play a lot. I play a lot of legendary. So I don't play, but the truth is I don't play Roosevelt Island very often, actually. I play District Union mostly. But, you know, I don't know. I probably play Roosevelt Island like once a month, you know. So I bet you if I spent Grand Washington Hotel, maybe that's what it was. What is Biko saying? Vin Diesel. Thanks, man. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Katie Sackhoff played with Vin Diesel in Riddick. One of the Riddick movies. Good follow up there. Appreciate you getting my back, Biko. Biko's got my back. He's in the Tux Clan too, by the way. Thank you, Harry. Okay, Sackhoff was Starbuck in Battlestar Galactica. Gotcha. I knew that's what you were talking about. I was teasing you when you said Starbucks. Do you remember that other movie? She was in another movie they released, and it'll surprise me if you guys know this one. A little trivia question. She was in another one where she was like this solo captain on this ship. And it was a full-on movie. And it was basically, the whole movie was basically just her. And I think she was talking to artificial intelligence that was built into the ship. Sort of like a version of Alexa. Speaking of Alexa, has anybody seen South Park post-COVID? Oh my god, that was hilarious. It was really, really funny. They're like, also all the South Park, you know, the 4 boys, whatever, Carmen and whatever, they're all grown up. So they're like all adults. They're suggesting that like COVID never went away, you know, and like, so post-COVID, everybody's adults because COVID never went away. It just kept like getting worse. Omicron. Which is the latest mutation in South Africa, right? Getting everybody to run for their money. Anyways, very funny. Gotta watch that one. It was a big old the mystery behind Kenny's death, of course. Kenny's an adult. Kenny dies. Another peek at the build here, guys. Steven Johnson, yours was the summer. I think that you might be who I'm talking about. You might have brought it up in the stream, Steven. That you got yours playing heroic, maybe with 3 directives. Fat Cat, you had some bad luck. Opened up 10 global event caches and they were all crappity crap. Crap. Yep, that sucks. That's why I opened 20, man, because then I don't feel bad about the crap. If I get like 2, I mean, I'll probably get 60% Dark Zone exclusive stuff again. But it'll still be crap because I don't need a lot of things. I'm looking for unique Dark Zone exclusive stuff. So right now, I'm looking for 2 specific pieces because I basically have everything. One of them, I mean, I could use more system corruption pieces, but those aren't going to come from name random caches. So that's one Dark Zone variation I'm missing more of. I got a lot of pieces, but I need more to make more interesting builds out of system corruption. But anyways, the 2 pieces I'm looking for, one is I'm looking for, I think Jaco's looking for these too, but I'm looking for the death grips with crit chance or crit damage already on them, and I want that pair so that I can re-roll the the core attribute to weapon damage or skill tier, but most likely weapon damage. So I'm looking for that variation. And I've got lots of death grips already, but they didn't already have crit chance or crit damage on them. So I got stuck with the armor. And it's good, like, so if I want to run like the 511 with 2-piece Bellstone, for example, and I don't want to go over an armor, that's why I want that. I want to keep my armor down at the sweet spot of like 1.1 million, but still have 20 to 30% armor on kill. By doing that, you can spend a lot more time out of cover if you got a higher rate of armor on kill. So that's the reason why I want to do that. And then the other thing I need is I got a lot of Murakami knee pads. I have like 6 of them. But believe it or not, the ones that I don't have are the Murakami named knee pads, you know, the Empress Guards, that already have armor regen on them. I have some with repair skills, skill damage, crits, crit damage, crit chance, like everything. But what I don't have is their Emperor's Guard knee pads with armor regen already on them. So I'm after that specific pair. And I'm wondering if anybody has those. And the reason why I want those is then I can roll a blue armor core on it. And so it'll be a triple blue pair of Murakami knee pads that would give you a lot of armor regen. So you accelerate armor regen with armor, right? So that's why I want to roll an armor core on it. And then if it's got a 1% armor regen, and then it's got, you know, basically 5,000 armor regen on that secondary attribute, then that's like having, you know, if my sweet spot's 1.1 million armor, which it usually is, that's like having 1.5% armor regeneration on that single piece with that setup. Heroic 7 directives, Steven. Wow. Okay. What are you saying, Biko, about Grand Washington Hotel? Are you saying that's where you got your 13% protection from elites? Hey guys, if you didn't know, classified builds are secret builds made just for Texas Players Club, true and hardcore Bandito member levels. So if you want to tap into these, you can get access today by making sure you're at least a true Bandito member level. And you can do that by hitting the join button below the video. Also, if anybody is looking to do the raids or join a really cool active clan, then the Tux clans are for you. They're popping thanks to some really good leaders and a really cool community. Some of those leaders are on the stream. I don't know if they're still on the stream, but Jaco leads one of the PlayStation clans that he's still on, and Latina is leading a PlayStation clan as well as an Xbox clan for the moment, but she's about to hand off the baton on the Xbox clan if she hasn't already. But yeah, so if you want to get involved with those, reach out, you know, either through the game platform itself, but Discord is the easiest place to run into these folios. But really good people. New and experienced players welcome. That was the hotel I was talking about, yeah. But that's funny, I was saying viewpoint. Is it? Why was I saying? No, I was saying viewpoint. This is what I was talking about earlier. Isn't the Grand Washington Hotel in the middle of the map? That's the hyena fort, right? But no, I was talking about the one that's called viewpoint. It's it's more on the edge. It's just north of what is it called? Capitol. Just a little northwest of Capitol Building. I believe it's called. Is it the Viewpoint Museum? Viewpoint something. But it's the one where you got to, you fight on your last fight. Your last fight is on the roof. Now the Grand Washington Hotel, there is a fight on the roof, but the last fight is actually in the lobby of the hotel. But I think it's Viewpoint. And I think it's called Viewpoint Museum. But it's Viewpoint something, where the last fight has those 3 nodes, those disruption nodes that are on the roof, and you have to take those out in a time limit. It's funny how I'm talking about these. That's I stopped playing missions. Like, I just don't play missions. Invaded, non-invaded, doesn't matter. They're just so boring for me. It's just like, you know, they're easy, not challenging. It's just yeah, I just stopped playing those. Control points are much more interesting for me because there's a lot more. I mean, you know where the spawns are, but there's still some variation to it. They could come from on the second wave. They could come from here or there or there or there. There's a few options, and some of them, you know, the spawn doors. There's A, B, and C door, and they could come out of any one of them. But also, you know, you could have these mega battles. A convoy might come through, or whatever. So I feel like there's more variation in the open world, and control points is more variety to the gameplay. So where I feel like with missions, they're more stagnant. So some of those missions, it's been a long time since I played them. I'm starting to forget the names of them. That's how long it's been since I played missions. Of course, legendaries I do all the time. So when I'm not doing legendaries, I'm either in the open world or I go to the summit if I have to farm. If the map is crap. Typhoon, what up, brother? You're back. Sup, Tux? Sup, Banditos? What's going on? Yep, Viewpoint. Okay, Anthony's got my back. Yeah, it is Viewpoint. Yeah. Oh, you did get the Murakami knee pads, huh, Fat Cat? Yeah, actually, those are a very sought after piece, man. You should hold on to those. They give you 1% armor regen as a secondary attribute. So Murakami gives you 20% duration on to your skills. But that 1% armor regen is really cool. Really cool. Very useful. Useful for everything, basically. Skill builds, tank builds, DPS builds. Armor regen's nice. So there's two types of armor regeneration out there, right? You have armor regeneration by the percentage, and then you have armor regeneration by the number. So max, there's armor regeneration, which is like, it's like 4,957 or something like that, right? Some random number. And that's max armor regeneration as an attribute. And then you have 1% armor regeneration, which you see as an attribute, a brand attribute, like on Bellstone or Golan gear. Each of those have 1% armor regeneration on them, right? And so, and Murakami knee pads also have 1% armor regeneration on them, and it's the only gear piece that has that as a secondary attribute. So there's no other gear piece in the game that has 1% armor regen as a secondary attribute. All the other pieces in the game that do have armor regen as a secondary attribute is the number kind of armor regeneration, the 4,957 kind. So the difference is that if you're running a lot of armor, and by a lot I mean over 1 million or 1.1 million, then you want to go off of the percentage-based armor regen. If you're running a little bit of armor, like under 1 million, 900,000 or less, then you want to go off of the 5,000% or the 5,000 number, the 4,957 armor regen. That's going to mean more to you than the 1% armor regen. Am I doing my math right there? Wait, I might be doing my math wrong there. Am I doing that wrong? I am. I think I misstated that. Hold on a second. Yeah, no, that's not right what I said. I take that back. I lied. But I think what I'm trying to say was the number, which is, let's just call it rounded up to 5,000. The secondary attribute, which is 5,000, that's, if you're running 900,000 in armor, that's 5.5, that's, 0.5%, a little bit more, almost 0.6% armor regeneration. So two of those together, you're at basically 1.2% armor regen, rounding up, as a secondary attribute. So if you get the Murakami knee pads with armor regen already on them, and then you have the 1% armor regen on it, right there alone, you're at just rounding up again, 1.6% armor regen on a 900,000 armor build, which is basically one armor core. So if you're running the Memento backpack, which is going to give you 3% armor regen, right? And then those Murakami knee pads, Fat Cat, then you're at, now you're at 4.6% armor regen, which is really high. And then raw armor regen as secondary attributes here and there, put a Bellstone on top, 5.6. You get yourself up to 7% armor regen pretty easily. Pretty nifty. Maybe throw in some Foundry Bulwark on top of that. Love the Bighorn build. Connected. Welcome to the stream, by the way. I'm glad it's the first one you're able to make. We're doing it in a few tests. So far, well, how we're going to end up is going to be with concussion on the back. So basically, the idea of this Bighorn build is that we're going in all on headshots because we're because it's really powerful, but also because we're running this event Reanimated, which sort of calls for headshots, right? So if you kill these guys with headshots, you get that green slushy, and that also prevents them from reanimating or becoming zombies. So we want to go for headshots. Also, we get more XP for headshot kills. And I'm running 4 directives for even more XP, and we're using that XP to level up. The more we level up, the more red stars we get. And we can use those red stars to buy named item caches. So, quick look at the build. So I'm running Concussion with max crits, 2 pieces of Bellstone, 3 pieces of Striker. We got a little bit of weapon handling. I'm also going to test this in just a moment with Bloodsucker to show you how it performs. And I'm not liking it with Bloodsucker, but we end up sticking with Concussion in the end, and that's the best place for this. But I'll also show you some gameplay footage without the global directives. They really changed the momentum of this build. And that's mostly because I have a hard time staying in place and staying in one spot. And, you know, with the special ammo, it's a really good idea to do that. With this build, with any of the builds, right? Getting out of cover, getting hit with that special ammo is really painful. And then I have armor break, so even though I have my 20% armor and kill on this build, so I'm gonna try Bloodsucker right here, you're about to see that. Even though I have 20% armor on kill, I don't get my armor all the way back up because I have armor break, which prevents your armor from going all the way full. If the enemy damages you, every time they break your armor, you lose a percentage of it. I believe it's 20%. Zeke, I'm with you, man. I mean, that was talked about, actually, at the time they were adding that feature into Summit. So Zeke says it'd be awesome if the devs allowed us to set targeted loot for control points. Summit is so boring for me. They did talk about that, actually, and decided against it. But, yeah, I think that'd be really cool, too. But they really don't want us to be too lucky with our loot, right? Because then we wouldn't be playing as much. They want us to grind. But yeah, but you know, that said, they did it for the Summit. Why not for the rest of the open world? But I don't know. I don't know what holds them back from doing it exactly, but that's one reason. You get, I think you get more loot in the open world too. Just got smeared there, and I was saying that if you have concussion, would have kept me alive there, because concussion, you get that weapon damage on hit, boosting you from the backpack, where Bloodsucker, you have to get the kill in order to get that bonus armor. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to get rewarmed up here. Yeah, or even if it was just a legendary, that'd be a good idea. That aside, I mean, I'm just really hoping for, with this new content that's gonna land in February, that they give us some more gear talents. You know, I know they're making some improvements to this and that, you know, like the specializations, but I would really like new things too, not just new configuration of the same thing, but we need new things like new talents and new brand sets. Like, I mean, remember there was a time where Bellstone didn't exist, right? I mean, Bellstone just opened up so many possibilities and builds. You can run one piece. I mean, I think it's actually the most useful brand set in the game. It's gives you that armor regen, armor on kill. I mean, that's just, I rarely use the income and repair side of it. Almost never use that. Because I feel like when you have the armor regen and armor on kill, you don't need repair skills. But if you're going to be a tank, maybe. There was a time where income and repair would help your armor regeneration too, but they changed that. It used to work. Typhoon says concussion and trauma. Love that combo. Yeah, it's a really good combo. Really good combo in the DZ too. I was saying earlier, somebody was asking me what I run in the DZ, and I say I like concussion trauma in the DZ because when somebody goes blind, they panic because they're usually out of cover, coming at you out of cover, right? With their adrenaline rush and intimidate. And if they have bonus armor at the time, you blind them and then you wipe that bonus armor, so then they lose and intimidate, right? And then they panic. They're panicking because they're blind too, so it just advantage you. And then running Riot Foam and the Blinder Firefly are really good skills to have with it. But as backup, I mean, so I'd basically shoot them in the head, blind them, Riot Foam them, blind them again. Is basically what I would do. And then you could, if they were still alive, you could Riot Foam them again, because you probably have at least 2 shots, even if you're not a skill build. So. Yeah, there's Bray. Well, I think he's talking about increased handling over time. I mean, there's multiple that do that. They're not very popular, but one of them is, I mean, that's basically what Eagle Strike does, right? The Eagle Bearer. Basically, your weapon handling, well, it's really just accuracy, but your accuracy improves over hits over time. And then there's another talent on the weapon where it's like crits increase your weapon handling or something like that. I forget what it's called, but it's not used very often. But Darkstormer, you do got a good point. He says that you can proc Intimidate with Sharpshooter skill. My house is my castle, but just by going into cover, you get. What he's saying is that, yeah, there's part of Sharpshooters just by being in cover, you get bonus armor. So if you spec into that by having a lot of armor, you'll get a percentage of that as bonus armor. And you want to see, bonus armor isn't very good if one bullet takes it away, right? Unless you're getting the jump on anybody, then you don't care how much bonus armor you have. As long as it's something, then you're going to have Intimidate. So, yeah. I mean, that could be just enough to give you an advantage if you were really good at jumping people. So, I love my outsider talent, says Zeke. Yep. I sort of have a grudge against outsider. I kind of don't think it makes sense. I have a hard time with the logic of it. I mean, I know people like it, and so I get it because it probably feels really good. But outsider basically turns your SMG into an assault rifle, right? That's basically what it does. Why would you want to do that? Well, the advantage SMGs have over assault rifles is that they come with 21% crit chance on them. So if you run something like the MPX with outsider on it, then you're gonna basically have an assault rifle that has 21% crit chance instead of 21% health damage. So that's the advantage that an SMG gives you. The problem is that you just sacrificed your one of 3 talents for optimal range on your SMG, which you could have done just by running an assault rifle. And then it's sort of the same discussion we were having earlier about brace, is that you have plenty of slots to put on crit chance on your build to acquire it that way, or by mods, doing it with mods, or both, where you only have 3 weapon talents. So to lose your weapon talent to force something like really it's crit chance is really what you're exchanging it for, because all you're doing is turning your SMG into an assault rifle, and it requires a kill to do that. You see what I'm saying? But the RPM, but the perfect version of, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. Sort of being devil's advocate here, but this is where my mind struggles with it. So, I mean, the CTAR has a 900 RPM. There's only one SMG that's faster than that, and it's the Vector. I mean, why not just run the Chameleon? It's an assault rifle with 900 RPM. I think it's 900 RPM, right? The Vector is basically an SMG, and it gives you the Vector. I'm sorry, the Chameleon is a Vector, which is pretty much it is basically an SMG. But the Chameleon also gives you all the crit chance that you need, right? It's got you don't need to roll any on your build because it gives you a crit chance on headshots, and it also has a bunch on the mods. But yeah, I know you love your outsider talent. I get it why people like it, but logically, I struggle with it just because you're better off just running an assault rifle, because you're gonna have everything that outsider gives you, like the CTAR. It's gonna give you everything the outsider gives you, but plus you're gonna have a weapon talent on top of that, like Strained or Optimist or something like that. So you're gonna have damage on top of that. But anyways. Yeah, clutch used to be shit. I actually like clutch still. I don't use it a lot just because I find I have plenty of armor on kill through like Gunner and Bellstone, but clutch is still cool. It's still armor on kill. Now there's 2 parts to clutch, right? There's the first part where it's like crit to try to stay on your feet, right? Crit to heal. But then there's crit, then there's armor on kill. Once you get a kill, then any crit after that will heal your armor basically up to 100%, depending on how many weapon damage cores that you have. So it's actually a really cool talent. It's armor on kill. It's armor on kill. It's just written out differently. So there's 2 parts. So I think it's confusing for people, and that's why it was glitched apparently for some time, and they did fix it. It does work. But I think it was confusing for people. But again, it goes to the same argument that I have about the outsider talent as I do about braced talent. It's just that don't run armor on kill in one of your talent slots when you can run it as an attribute or a secondary attribute or as a specialization and get more than enough there, right? To save your attributes, hopefully for damage if you can. They're important for that added damage, you know. And there's times where you can roll them for defense, like Adrenaline. Like Adrenaline Rush with Intimidate makes a lot of sense to lose your talent to defense, because the chest offensive talent that you gain from that is so enormous that it's okay to have defense on your back there. You offset it. It's a big enough offset for it to make sense. But that's, thank goodness for a nice little synergy that they gave us here. We need more of that kind of stuff. And Intimidate, Adrenaline Rush kind of synergies. Yeah, Typhoon, I'm with you, man. Just give us back our holster talents, is what he says. That would be cool. Yeah, I miss those. I miss those. I wish we had talents on all of our gear pieces like we used to. I think, was that TU4 that they changed that? Or maybe TU6? It was a lot more confusing. I remember trying to figure out the math on things, and it just got really confusing back in the day. And how things would add or add up. I remember trying to calculate things. It got really confusing because there was stats on every piece, like on the knee pads, and there was like so many attributes and talents. But so they did. I do like how they made it more simple for us to create our builds, but at the same time, they took so much of it away. They probably had to, though, because I think things start to break when they have too many variables. You can bring a little bit back. Don't take away all our holster talents. I did like the holster talent thing, though. So if you guys don't remember that, that's basically like as long as the weapon was on your build, but even if it wasn't in hand, you could get the talent working for you. So let's just say one of those talents was something like armor on kill was on your mop, right? As long as the mop was on your build, you would get the armor on kill, even if you weren't using the mop. Even if you were using your bighorn, you would still get the armor on kill. That was called a holster talent, and it was really helpful. I also remember the Dodge City holster used to be really cool. The Dodge City holster was just by switching to your pistol, it would reload all your weapons. So you could switch your pistols and switch back to your LMG, and all your weapons would be fully loaded. That was really cool too. Yeah, Typhoon. Typhoon's talking about clutch. Yeah, it used to be holding on the level. So clutch used to work off of health. So back with the original clutch build, you would spec nothing into armor and go full in on health, and clutch would give you health on crit, basically. And so you could, as long as you were critting against your opponent, you would be healing as you were putting out damage at the same time. This is basically the original vampire build, I think is what we called it, right? Wasn't it the original vampire build concept? Because you're basically sucking life out of the enemy to stay up as you're killing them at the same time. But yeah, I missed that build. It was good. I actually ran that with the it was the, what do you call it? Chain Chatterbox. I used to run the Chatterbox with that, I believe. I love the Chatterbox, guys. Chatterbox is really good. I'm really big into our high RPMs. I mean, those are my favorites, and I don't use them as much as I used to, but because I've started to vary my builds a lot more. But the Chatterbox is really, really powerful. Really, really powerful. Again, it doesn't have a damage talent, but RPMs is a multiplicative talent. I don't know if you know that, but so Striker, just the fact that it improves your RPM is giving you more multiplicative damage. It's basically increasing your DPS, right? So it's the Chatterbox is the same thing. The difference is with Chatterbox, it also scales to your threat. So the more enemies you have in front of you, the faster your gun fires. And then when you kill somebody, it auto reloads your weapon. So it's basically the bullet queen is what I call it. Like it's like the bullet king, right? Where you don't have to reload. And so the Chatterbox is just like a really good weapon. Really good weapon. It's probably really, like deep down inside, it's probably really my favorite SMG out of all of them. I like scaling, things that scale with threat. Another example of that is Adrenaline Rush. It scales with threat. So the more, look at it, this battle just blew up on me. I don't know where these guys came out of, but look at them. All of a sudden, there's like 30 new bad guys here. This control point was supposed to be done. Oh, it's an elite resource. This is an elite resource convoy. That's That's what they are. But I was just like, this control point is supposed to be done, and all of a sudden, all these elites just come running at me. Anyways, yeah, but it's my favorite. The Chatterbox is actually my favorite, and I love the Vector. I love the SIG MPX. Those are my other top SMGs. The P90 is actually a really good SMG. I don't think it gets as much credit as it deserves. It sits between basically the Vector and the SIG MPX as far as damage and RPMs go. The only thing that the P90 does lack is it is missing a few mods, but it does really well. It's got I think a 50 round mag. When people were actually expecting that, the devs had to come out and basically say, hey guys, just to set the record straight, there is no alternate ending gonna happen at the end of the season. It is a true rerun of last season. But that's all because the fake news guys were out there spreading their speculation, and just wait for the devs to drop this. They actually deliver everything they say they're gonna deliver on. All of the disappointment in our community has come from the fake news dudes who speculate, and that just turns into false hopes and disappointment and whatever. So we're better off just, sticking with what we know until we get actual published news from the devs, official stuff. I mean, what's the point of speculating, I know, it'd be one thing if the devs had a reputation of listening to our speculation tapes and then developing around that, but you got to remember their development is years, months in advance. They're a little bit behind now because I think they were actually originally planning on abandoning the game, and then they had their investor meeting, and I think that changed their plans, and so they were like, holy shit, we got to develop some stuff now. But so I think they're a little bit behind because of that, but most of the time their development is way ahead of our even recognition of the concept, right? That's just how production works, guys. It's all planned and pre-planned. They're not developing stuff weeks ahead of its release. It's months, quarters, because they got to go through quality control and testing and all that other stuff too. So they got to dedicate resources and then go through their sprints to get that stuff developed. So if we're sitting here doing speculations, hoping the devs are listening to us for next quarter, for February's rollout, no way, no way. February is planned. They know everything they're gonna drop in February. They just haven't told us yet. You realize that, right? And that the developers, they say it's not their decision, right? Yannick, for example, he says it's not my call on when I can tell you that. It's somebody in corporate's call, right? Probably the go-to-market team. It's their call on when they make the announcement. So, and they're not gonna do it until the last minute because there's always a possibility that something can change, and so they don't want to release the information out too early and then find out something changes and then they have to retract. That's going to cause more disappointment. So they wait to drop their bombs on us till the last minute. We are getting close to the end of our stream, guys, so if you got any things to add, please drop them in the chat. Chat. Merciless was OP back in the day. Yeah, I remember when people used to run Merciless more than they do now, that's for sure. I pick it up from time to time thinking I'm going to create a build from it, and then I'm so underwhelmed by the way that thing feels. It's just like, it's not just like the damage thing aside and the weapon handling aside, it's like the actual sound of it. It's like tink, 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 tink. I feel like I'm shooting at a tin can, right? It's just, yeah. And then on top of all of that, it's just like, I'll fully spec into that thing and then load up on those explosions, and I can't even take out an elite with it. Just a regular old elite in the shooting range. You know, it's just like, God, this thing just can't even take out an elite, even when I'm fully spec'd into the. It's a weapon damage. Explosions are actually weapon damage on that, so that's what you want to spec into. And it's just like, wow, really underwhelming. Yeah, Typhoon, you know what I'm talking about. All that blowback on the alternate ending of Failal. But that's the fake news. The fake news cover dudes. All the streamers that are putting out the fake news, man. They blew that up into the community. Because this is the deal. This is the deal. And I sympathize for the news streamers. But they run out of things to say. They don't have anything else to say because they do news coverage. And there isn't any news right now in the Division 2. So the news is sort of bland, right? And so then they move into speculation. So they basically go to, instead of delivering news like a news channel, they go more towards like the tabloids, right? Now they've become like a tabloids channel, right? Start covering Princess Diane and shit. So it's all speculation. And then people are catching it in a rumor mill. It's basically like that game Telephone, right? So even if the speculator news streamer guy is saying, hey, this is just speculation, it's not fact, it doesn't, by the time it gets into the community, you know, it's heard differently. It's heard as, hey, this is what's going to happen, you know. So-and-so streamer on YouTube said this is what it's going to be, so I'm really excited to see that. And he has friends that are devs, you know, and it's just like, oh man, what a nightmare. But it's not so much with the problem with it all at the end of the day is like, it's not the speculation part, it's just that it gets the community's hopes up. That's why we get disappointed so much, is because the shit that we're promised isn't even being promised by the devs, it's being promised by somebody on YouTube, and then it doesn't come through, and then we're disappointed because it sounded so cool that we were hoping for it and we didn't get it. It's just like, eh. But it's like finding out Santa Claus doesn't exist. Did they promise? I don't remember that. Cassie selling exotics. What happened to the other gunrunner in the Dark Zone? Remember that guy? What happened to him? Used to be 2 gunrunners. I don't know if you guys remember that, but the other one just stopped. I don't remember any formal announcement about him going away too, but why would they stop that? I mean, that gave us a reason to go into the Dark Zone. I actually used to go into the Dark Zone for him, just to see what he'd have. Mika, you just getting here? Where are you from, Mika? What part of the world are you hollering from? Germany? Are you German, Mika? We got quite a few people from Germany on this channel. I think it's the 3rd largest audience. It goes North America, US, Canada. And then second from there is the United Kingdom. And 3rd largest audience, I think, is German, and then France. Germany, and then France, and then I think Brazil. If I remember right. I think Brazil's next. Eddie Carico says, I've had the game since day one. Just last week, I finally received my Enforcer shoddy. It came once I opened my 4th character. So, wow, that's weird, Eddie. Let me ask you more about that. Eddie, did you buy did you get an early release of the Division 2? Like, because I think the Enforcer, wasn't that a pre-order? Wasn't that a pre-order weapon? Like some of those special exotics. There was a couple of exotics that were pre-orders as well. I can't remember the names. It was the Merciless cousin and the Sweet Dreams cousin. I think those were 2 pre-order exotics. Oh, okay, yeah. My bad. I was just throwing a guess out there. I got it wrong. It's Germany. South Carolina, that's close, right? It's on the way to Germany from where I am. So. But yeah, that's curious that you got your. So I don't have the Enforcer. That's and I really wish I did. Yeah. So Micah, I'm sorry, buddy. Micah, thank you for correcting me there. I try to get you guys' names right. It is important that I do get your names right because I know I'll see you again on stream. So, Micah, I appreciate that. Ruthless, yeah, that Ruthless was the Merciless's cousin. And then the Sweet Dreams has a cousin too, right? But is the Enforcer a pre-order or was it like a day one weapon? Because there is a difference. Because I don't have the Enforcer, but Enforcer, if you guys don't know, is it's a named Super 90 that has perfect pummel on it. And the other weapon that has perfect pummel is the Typhoon. Wait, is it pummel? That's right? I'm getting that right, isn't it? Isn't it pummel? But I love pummel. And I have, I run it with my M870 and it does really well. Lullaby, good job, Biko. You got my back, brother. Am I getting old? I'm just forgetting names. I think it's the hour. It's that time. That's how I know it's time, the stream is coming to an end. I start screwing up my names. So it's a pre-order. Okay. So, but what I want to know is from whoever made that comment. Who was that? That was Eddie. Eddie, did you pre-order the game? Because you said you got the game since day one, but that's different. Did you pre-order the game? I want to know because I don't have the Enforcer, but I only have 3 characters, so I didn't pre-order the game, not that I remember. And I don't have the Enforcer, but I'm wondering, like, if I start my 4th character, will I all of a sudden get the Enforcer just by some sort of weird game glitch? Let's not start Rumorville or anything like that, but I'm wondering if that is the case because I really want that weapon. I love the Super 90. It was actually my original favorite shotgun. I went through this whole shotgun phase, guys. You probably noticed, for those of you that have been following me for the longest, I have all these shotgun build videos where I started with this one and I moved to that one, and then I literally covered through all the shotguns, and they just kept getting stronger and faster and stronger and faster and better and stronger and faster and better. I ended up on the KSG. The shotgun's akimbo build. You gotta check that one out. We're double shotgun build where I use the rock and roll shotgun and the M870 shotgun on a special Hunter's Fury build. And I'm 1-2 tapping elites and heroic and legendary. And it's just really strong shotgun build. A lot of fun too. It's exhilarating. It's kind of on the edge of your seat type build. And then I created variations of that using the mop. Make my way around. The Scorpio I use usually for the status effect, so I usually build differently around that one, just to do something fun and effective. But I don't usually use it for a power-based weapon because there's stronger shotguns out there. I sort of look at it like, why status affect them when you could just kill them? Why not just kill them? And these other shotguns work just like that. Even the mop, it's just like, why status affect them? I can just kill him with the mop. Just kill him. Boom, 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 dead. Why do I need to shock him? You know what I mean? But the shock is cool, okay. But so if I'm going to use that shock, I'm going to use it in some sort of status effect build. You know. Did you guys see the agitator? Or the aggravator? I'm sorry, the aggravator. That's where I hacked a 4-piece Eclipse build into a skilled damage build with 60% amplified damage plus another 20% damage bonus because I'm using the Scorpio. Really good build. Is that why Typhoon saying they pulled the DZ vendor? Because people were pissed that they weren't surviving in the DZ to get access to him. That's dumb. That's really dumb. It should be part of the risk, you know? It was part of the risk. I made it to him, you know? I wouldn't always take the time, but when I did, you know, it wasn't that big of a deal. Yeah, anyway, so the Enforcer is, you know, the Super 90, which is really fast, so it does a really good job of staggering them. It's got a pretty painful reload on it, so with something like Perfect Pummel, it would solve that problem, right? I don't, you know, I've never, it's a Wony exclusive, huh? But I have Wony too, but it must have been a pre-order Wony? A Wony pre-order bonus. After traveling there, it ends up in your stash, special deliveries. Okay, that's how it goes, okay. Anthony, you got yours on most recently on your 4th character? Wow, that's interesting. I gotta check it out. I need to start my 4th character apparently. I've been like stringing along with 3 characters, barely surviving. I mean, my stash is always full, so I know I need a 4th character. I just like, oh, I don't want to do that whole going through New York crap. You know, wasted basically 3 hours leveling up your character between 30 and 40. It's sort of a drag. It's boring. I think New York is boring altogether, to be honest with you. Yeah, Kaiju Reaper, exactly. That's exactly where I ended up. So I ended up with, Kaiju says, I run Pummel with KSG Shoddy. So I picked up the KSG Shoddy a long time ago, and I was just like, oh, this is a horrible shotgun, and then threw it away and never looked back. And then I went through the shotgun phase, and I ended up, at the end of it, I started with the Super 90, went through all the shotguns, and I ended with the M870. And I said to myself, the M870 is hands down the best shotgun in the game. And then I got a drop of a KSG with Pummel on it, not perfect. But I got a perfect KSG with Pummel on it. And I was like, well, I got to give this shoddy a try. And then I used it, and it turned out that it's actually the better shotgun. Now, the handling on it is a little worse than the M870, but it comes with 12 rounds in the mag. And the problem with the M870 is that it comes with something like, what is it? 6 or 7, something like that. Can't remember exactly what it is. But if you miss a shot or two, or if you come against a big group, you might get stuck in a reload situation, you know? So a couple of rounds sort of makes a difference there. And when you're using the KSG shotgun, you got 12 rounds in the mag, you got a little bit less damage. I think it tops out at like 1.2 million, somewhere around there. But you have enough rounds to make up the difference there. So if you miss a shot or two, you still have extra rounds. So it's harder to find yourself getting caught in a reload situation. You're more likely gonna proc Pummel. And so that's why the KSG shotgun ends up being the better shotgun between the two. Now, I do say I do prefer the M870 overall. The base damage is higher. I like the handling a little bit better than the KSG shotgun, but the reality is the KSG shotgun is actually the better shotgun between the two. It's got a little bit less damage than M870, but it's got so many more rounds, almost 2x rounds, that it ends up being better for Pummel. I mean, because that way if you miss a shot or two, you don't lose your Pummel chance and get stuck with the reload. So yeah, okay, I'm gonna create that character in New York, and then Anthony DeMar, and give that a roll. Appreciate you guys' tips on that. It's just another reason why I gotta get to that 4th character. Better now than never. But with that said, folks, I think we're gonna call it. I appreciate you all. It's been a good run. Hopefully you got some good gameplay footage here of this build, and as I'm exiting, you can kind of check out the build one last time. Really easy to assemble. I think it's about getting that weapon handling right on the build, and I rolled on 2 weapon handling attributes, and the rest is coming from Striker, the mods, and my watch. So I only have 16% as attributes. The rest is coming from Striker, the mods on the bighorn, and the watch. And then tomorrow, I think I'm gonna do a special rail splitter build. I like the way it actually performed here, but I didn't finally tune it. So I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna start maybe pulling back some of that handling and rolling in some more damage, and then see where we finalize. But I appreciate you guys. I really appreciate your support. Coming to these streams, it really helps. Hitting the likes, commenting, and of course joining Texas Players Club are all other ways you can help. And join us on Discord if you haven't done that. So I'll see you on the flip. Probably do another stream tomorrow, and maybe even Monday as well. And then I'll drop the next build video on Tuesday. Catch you then.